Hello, and welcome to my Office of Research Integrity presentation for SCI 495. I'm Nick Navarro, and let's get started. I was examining Colleen Skau for my misconduct presentation. Colleen Skau was a postdoctoral fellow with the National Heart, Lung, and Blood Institute within the National Institute of Health. Two papers of hers were noted to have severe ethical violations. One was published in Cell, and another was published in Proceedings of the National Academy of Science. Colleen Skau received a PhD in molecular genetics and cell biology from the University of Chicago in Illinois. Colleen's research topic was examining specifically cancerous cells and how they are able to move throughout the body and become migratory. She was looking specifically at the changes in the cytoskeleton during migration and its interaction within the microenvironment. Another one of her retracted papers focused on actin filaments and integrin-based focal adhesions interactions that direct cell interactions during migration. She also looked into protections migratory cancerous cells use to remain intact upon migration. Both papers were examining the role of the cytoskeleton in maintaining the integrity specifically of the nucleus when it was trying to move through those pores. And she examined formin 2 protein specifically. The mechanism of formin 2 is that it forms structures with actin around the nucleus to allow the cell to move through pores in the microenvironment. This is advantageous for cancerous cells because they are going to be able to move through pores within either blood cells to get out and become migratory and malignant cancer cells. Now, Colleen had two papers that were retracted. I'm going to be focused on the paper that was published in Cell. It was found to have multiple falsified and fabricated images and data, which is always incorrect, and she was found to have done this intentionally. She omitted multiple data points and fabricated data for statistical analysis. She falsely stated significant p-values and omitted images and conditions from analysis. This was very detrimental to her work because it did show that she specifically manipulated the data specifically for distrust and to lie, essentially. Now, if you look to the right, we're going to examine figure 5b. What we're looking at here is specifically the significance values that are shown from the bar graphs. And essentially the issue with this figure was that she stated significance. However, she used entirely fabricated data to actually make this graph. As a result, the paper had to be retracted. Now, some of the consequence she received from these two papers was that she entered a voluntary settlement agreement in January of 2018. She had multiple restrictions placed on her due to her ethical violations, and this contract was actually made with the Office of Research Integrity. Skau had to have her research supervised for a period of 3 years, so any PHS publicly funded research had to be approved by the Office of Research Integrity, and she specifically had to have someone in a contract stating that they were supervising her work. The next was any institution employing her had to certify that any of her data is legitimate and prove that it has not been manipulated. And if no supervision plan is made, she will not be attached to any research submitted for PHS funds. This can include any type of abstracts or grant proposals. She also was not allowed to have supervisory roles within the PHS for 3 years. This includes advisory boards and even proposing. And then lastly, she had to retract her two papers that they found these ethical violations in, and those were her main consequences. Now, Skau was in a tenured position, so this greatly hurt her chances of furthering her career and even gaining tenure. Also, this was a federally funded research project, so this resulted in wasted money because any results they found that were actually legitimate could not be used in any capacity due to the retraction. This also harms her co-authors. So anyone who is working with her, whether it's PhD students, postdocs, all of them are harmed, and their careers are also hurt because they also do have a retraction associated with their name. Also, federal funding was used for these projects, and anytime federal funded projects are used to determine future funding. So this could lead to less funding for similar projects, could lead to less growth within that specific area of research. And she was looking specifically at migratory cancer cells, which should be a very large area of interest. However, due to her retractions, not many people are going to either be wanting to fund that now, or they're going to look at other people who are going to do it better. And that is all my presentation. Thank you so much.